What's up, YouTube? This is Victor on the Let Me Explain show, and this is the start of a series called AI and Me. So every Monday, I'll be posting a video about me interacting with AI in terms of art, in terms of writing, in terms of also podcasting, which is what this is about. Because recently I discovered NotebookLM, AI app function that creates podcasts out of your prompts. So basically, the output is two people talking as though they were on a podcast, responding to your input. It's pretty scary, I must warn you. And today, what we're going to do is dive into one of my podcast episodes and have Google's Notebook LM analyze it. Let's see what comes out of it. I will be using two AI apps. The one is called Descript. What it will do is it will take a transcription from my. I'm just laughing because the camera popped up balloons when I went like this, which is interesting. Well, now it's not doing it. Okay. Anyway, let's not get distracted. But I think if you do that in front of the camera. There we go. Anyway, distraction. So what we're going to do is look at one of my my first episodes, which was called Road Rage, the tools I used to get out of it. Now, I started my podcast in 2023, and 2024, about July, I burnt out, so I stopped posting after about 40 episodes. So it will be interesting to look back every Monday with you, hopefully, and see what AI thinks about my podcast. So what we're going to do first is go on screen. Where we are right now is in Descript, and what this app does is simply transcribe what you put into it and then give you a transcript. So I've already got a transcript for this. What I'm going to do is copy the text and put it into Google's LM model. I'm going to copy that, and then we're going to go to Google LM, which is free, by the way. So you can either post a link or paste text or draw documents from your Google Drive. What I'm going to do is paste text. Okay. I want to go back for a second because it's a bit odd. If I say, it says copied text. I already have copied text, but what's happening is it's not copying it into there. I found that rather interesting. So I'm going to paste that, insert, and now we're going to see what it does. Now we're going to generate. So it says audio overview, deep dive conversation, 2 hosts. So we generate. It takes a few seconds before it actually spits out the result, which is pretty interesting from my perspective. So we're just going to wait for that to do its thing. And while it does, I'll tell you a bit about my experience with it because I've already played with it. You can actually interact with the AI model as it's going through the quote unquote podcast, and it's pretty damn scary, to be honest with you, because the speed at which it catches what you're saying and interprets it, formats it, and then makes it fit the conversation is pretty scary. It's downright scary. Anyway, we'll wait for a bit for it to generate. While it generates, why don't we do this? Let's hop onto my podcast and I'll show you the episode I was talking about. And while we're there, I'll also share some reflections I had on my very first podcast episode. It's pretty interesting to look back. So that's my podcast right here. There we go. So this is the episode, How I Overcame Road Rage. And I want you to listen to it for a second and tell me what you pick up. Of course, I'll share what I picked up. interesting time for me because the holidays aren't especially bright and brilliant, and okay, for various reasons. Okay, I think that actually sums up exactly what I picked up. What did you pick up? I would love to know in the comments below. And so, are you ready for it? It's super low energy. It's like, why would I even want to listen to that? Of course, the content is interesting, but the energy is so low. As I was reviewing it, I was thinking, people listen to podcasts after a long day or at the beginning of the day or in the middle of the day. And the last thing you would want is somebody with low energy talking to you like this. It just doesn't work. What that led me to is I'm going to redo my whole podcast and just pump it up, give it a bit more energy and see if the results will be better. Anyway, let's go back to, oh, it's ready. Oh, I'm even scared of this. We're going to go, firstly, we're just going to listen for a little bit and then we're going to go into the interactive mode right here. And you'll see what I was talking about. So firstly, this is what we get.
Ever wish you could just hit pause when you're about to totally lose it?
Yeah.
Well, today we're going to look at this wild story.
Right.
It's all about someone going from like 0 to 10 in a flash, bitter, quick temper, the whole 9 yards, to this total state of calm.
Interesting.
And the thing is,
what we want to do is see what the AI can do and what it talks about. So we're just going to listen for a couple of seconds and then I'll comment on
their
it.
turning point was actually getting yelled at, like right in their face.
Wow.
And they ended up getting complimented for being so calm. How crazy is that?
That's pretty wild.
We're going to break down exactly how they pulled off this transformation.
Now that's scary because what's happening here with the AI is pulling a part of the podcast that talked about a period, a moment, a time, a situation where I was yelled at by somebody, and halfway through them yelling at me, they said, "And you're so calm." And so this is the beginning of this AI's podcast, Deep Dive, and it's pulling already from right in the middle of the podcast and bringing it up front as an intro, as a hook. It's pretty incredible.
What they did,
Okay.
what they thought, everything.
Yeah, this deep dive, it's not just about like avoiding road rage or whatever.
Right.
It's way deeper than that. We're talking self-awareness, emotional control, even how they see the whole world differently.
Totally. So this person, they weren't always like a Zen master or anything.
Right.
They described themselves before all this as bitter, full of self-loathing, quick to throw insults. Basically, the world was a hostile place to them. Kind of relatable, right?
We've all been there.
We've all had those days, you know.
For sure.
But
that was really me in around 2015, 2016. I was really that bitter person. So my podcast is based on my experiences, and that's what this AI is talking about. What I'm going to do now is jump into the interactive mode. This is the part that really freaks me out. You can actually call in to the episode and interact with the hosts. It's pretty, yeah. So we're going to go ahead and play it.
Ever wish you could just hit pause when you're about to totally lose it?
Yeah.
Well, today we're going to look at this wild story.
Okay.
It's all about someone going from like 0 to 10 in a flash, bitter, quick temper, the whole 9 yards, to this total state of calm.
Interesting.
And the thing is, their turning point was actually getting yelled at, like right in their face.
Wow.
And they ended up getting complimented for being so calm. How crazy is that?
That's pretty wild.
We're going to break down exactly how they pulled off this transformation, what they did, what they thought, everything.
Yeah, this deep.
So at this point, I'm going to jump in and act like a caller by pressing the join button. And then I'm going to say, hey, this is Victor, and I'm the podcast host and the person in the story. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm sitting right here listening. Let's do it.
Deep dive, it's not just about like avoiding road rage or whatever.
Right.
It's way deeper than that.
Yeah. Whoa, did someone just break the fourth wall? Let's hear it.
Hi there, this is Victor, the guy in the podcast and also on the Mirror Within podcast. So I just wanted to say I'm listening in, and if you have any questions, please let me know.
Oh, wow, Victor, that's amazing that you're listening.
Yeah, it's really great to have you with
We're actually in the middle of unpacking your journey.
And yeah, it's fascinating to hear it all firsthand.
So, like you were talking about being bitter and quick to anger before this change?
Right. And you mentioned that the world felt like a hostile place to you then?
Isn't that crazy? That was so natural and so normal.
And
so what I'm gonna do is jump back in again and say, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me to answer.
That turning point for you, as you described, was the Isha Kriya. Oh, yeah, uh-huh.
Hi there, it's Victor again. I just wanted to say, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask and I'll be happy to answer.
Victor, that's so cool of you to offer.
Yeah, we really appreciate you being so open with us.
It's amazing to have you here with us as we're diving into your story.
And yeah, we might just take you up on that offer later on.
So we were talking about how you weren't always this calm, peaceful person.
Right. Before this shift, you described yourself as bitter and quick to anger.
And we were just about to get into the details of how you started that journey.
We were going to start with your Isha Kriya meditation practices.
Okay, so before all of that, you were saying you saw the world as a hostile place, right?
Yeah, and that the world felt like it was attacking you.
Kind of relatable, right? We've all been there.
We've all had those days, for sure, for sure.
So your journey really kicks off with this thing called Isha Kriya meditation.
Okay.
And the whole idea is separating yourself from your body and mind.
Interesting, and definitely something we can unpack further.
And honestly, my first thought was, wait, how's that even possible?
Yeah, it sounds kind of out there at first, for sure.
Right.
But with Isha Kriya, it's all about creating some space between what triggers you and your automatic response, allowing a moment to choose instead of just reacting.
Interesting.
You know, like those times you just blurt something out in the heat of the moment.
Uh-huh.
And then
Now that is absolutely crazy. What I'm struck by is the fact that it all sounds so natural, and there seems to be emotion and feeling behind the speakers' voices. And I know this is AI generated. It's like there are no people analyzing my podcast. I don't know if I should even call it a machine or if it's machine learning. I don't even know what to call it. So, whew, yeah. I'm going to play it a little bit longer, and then after that, just round it off, and I will post the full episode in my new channel called AI, Tech, and Me. So AI, Tech, and Me. So look out for that. I'll post a link in the description. You'll find this whole conversation there, including some of my commentary if I post it there, if it's not too long, that is. So we're just gonna listen a little bit longer and then round off this video.
Instantly you regret it.
Oh, yeah.
This practice helps you create that pause, that moment of choice.
Okay, I see.
And you described it as a visualization where you're sitting between your thoughts and feelings.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful.
So you can really see this shift play out in the story you share.
Mm-hmm.
You're hit with these like really intense racial insults twice on the same day.
Awful.
Told to go back to Africa, not once, but twice. In the past, you admit this would have been like a huge fight.
Yeah.
But this time...
And now, did you hear when she reacted like, as if she felt my pain in that moment? This is... I don't even know how to... Oh, gosh. Wow. It's too much. It's too much. Okay. I'm okay with it if AI can simply give me information about Isha Kriya, Shambhavi Mudra, do a deep dive. I'm okay with that. But I don't think I'm ready for it to have emotions and feelings. Like it felt my pain. People, what the heck?
Something was different.
Okay.
You actually chose not to engage. You just walked away.
Really?
You didn't let those insults dictate how you reacted. And that takes some serious self-control.
That's really something. What's so cool here is how you detached from that emotional reaction.
Yeah.
And you open up a whole new way to respond. Like choosing not to react is still a response.
I want to touch a little bit about Isha Kriya, which is a yoga meditation I do by Sadhguru. And this really helped me, like the AI is saying, that it helped me detach myself, my body, from my mind and myself. So, without going into too much detail, what this basically does is I can see myself thinking. We all do that at some point in time. You can see yourself thinking. But I can also see that I'm not my body. My body is something else. My mind is something else. And I'm something else. And this whole practice, Sadhguru puts it like that separation is what really leads to growth. It leads to calmness, it leads to health, because when we become attached to the mind and try to control the mind or try to be the mind, or when we become attached to the body and then begin to worship the body, begin to worship the body, or just be super identified with the body, then we're losing the essence of who we are. We're the ones with the body, we're the ones with the mind. The question is, who are we?
Right.
And in this case, it speaks volumes about the change you're going through.
Yeah, it's like a whole different level of being in control.
Exactly. And that's where your journey goes to next. Affirmations.
Yeah, this next thing you discover is affirmations, and it seems to boost this shift even more.
That's really interesting.
It is.
How you didn't even realize they were working at first.
Right, like affirmations, they can actually change how we see ourselves. And that changes how others see us too.
Right, because of your own inner confidence.
What's wild is you weren't even trying to change yourself with affirmations.
So you were just letting them play in the background?
Yeah, it was almost accidental. You just started playing them.
Okay.
But get this, people around you started noticing a difference.
Interesting. What kind of difference?
They were calmer, more insightful, even a joy to be around. Those were the words people used.
It really shows you how even subtle changes inside can affect everything else.
Yeah, it's like you were giving off a different vibe and everyone felt it.
Totally.
Hold on, because here's where things get really wild.
Now, that's super scary because, yes, I was giving off a totally different vibe and people felt it. I did mention that in the podcast, but I didn't go into this much depth. It's not the depth that worries me, it's the accuracy in the description of the situation that I went through. Yeah, I don't know what to think, people. I really don't. I'm at the point where I've started a whole different channel. It's called AI Tech and Me, like I mentioned. And this is the thing I want to explore. How far does AI go in terms of reading us as people, putting emotion into content, and also measuring how much it dives into the academic side versus the social side. As you can see here, there are no people here. This is a machine talking to itself, splits itself into two people, one male, one female, and is talking like it's on a podcast. Do you get me? This is some scary stuff.
Okay.
You find this thing called Shambhavi Mudra.
Okay.
And it's all tied to this idea of grace, like a way to make life run smoother.
Grace, that's an interesting way to put it.
Before we go into your experience with Shambhavi Mudra, maybe we should unpack that idea of grace a little.
We're not talking about religion here.
Right.
Think of it more like flow and ease, where things just work out without effort.
Yeah.
Almost like you're tapping into some energy source that lets you handle challenges with less friction.
Like that effortless feeling we all want.
Exactly.
And the thing is, you were totally skeptical about all this at first.
Yeah.
But the changes you describe after practicing Shambhavi Mudra, they're incredible.
So what happened?
Seriously, what did this Shambhavi Mudra actually involve?
Yeah.
Well, it's a specific hand gesture paired with breathing techniques. You practiced it consistently. And it's crazy is the changes,
Hi there. So Shambhavi Mudra is you sit in a lotus position, cross-legged, and you hold your fingers in what's called the yoga mudra. So what that entails is you have your three fingers straight, and then you have your index finger and your thumb touching, making a circle, and you hold this pose with both hands resting on each lap, and eyes closed, back straight as possible, and you're looking up as though you're looking right between your eyes, and that's Shambhavi Mudra. That's the pose.
Oh, wow. Thanks for jumping in and clarifying that for us.
Yeah, it's really helpful to have you describe the physical aspects of the Shambhavi Mudra.
Okay, so you're sitting in a lotus position, back straight, with your hands in yoga mudra and looking up, right?
It's great to hear those details, like the finger placement is important and helpful for us to know.
Exactly. That visual really brings it to life.
It's like you're creating a specific energy flow through your body and mind.
Right, and you're saying how it opens you up to grace, which we were just talking about.
Yeah, it's like you're aligning yourself with the flow of life so things become easier.
Okay, so with that in mind, let's get into your experience with it.
Yeah, you mentioned that your whole world changed, almost like magic.
It's like you became a magnet for good things.
And this all happened from these seemingly simple practices.
Seriously.
And it's important to note that the science behind some of this, like affirmations and mudras, it's still kind of up in the air.
Right.
But what's so powerful here is your personal experience.
Definitely. The results speak for themselves.
And it shows that we might not know everything about how the mind and body connect.
Right.
But we can't deny the possibilities for change are there.
So we've looked at these three things: Isa Kriya meditation, affirmations, and Shambhavi Mudra.
Right.
Each one building on the last, leading to more self-awareness, calmness, and even grace.
It's an amazing progression that we can all try ourselves.
But I'm really curious to hear about the concrete ways your life changed because of all this.
Oh, I agree. The how is just as important as the what.
Totally. Let's get into the detail.
Absolutely. So we were talking about how these practices led you to a place of inner peace.
Yeah.
And what really got to me.
Okay, so that's where we're going to stop this video. It's a super interesting conversation. I'm caught right now. I don't know whether to tell you to dive into AI or to stay away from it. But what I'm going to tell you is AI is here to stay. It's here to stay. It's already in our lives anyway. If you have a smartphone, hey. If you have a car, hey. If you have a fridge that's got IoT on it, connects to the internet, hey. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this whole deep dive on my podcast, and that way you can listen to it at your own leisure. And this episode I'll post on my old channel, which is the Let Me Explain show, which is a variety show. Hey, I'm a kid. I was born in the 70s. What do you expect? Okay? But what I'm going to do, like I say, is start a brand new channel called Tech, AI, and Me. And that is where we're going to explore 40 episodes that I've done already on Spotify and just break them down, dig deep into them, and see what AI is pulling from them and have a conversation about that. But also, if there's something you'd like me to explore with this technology, I would love to do so. Please leave it in the comments, and I'll definitely respond to that. So before I go, I just want to thank everybody who supported the Let Me Explain show, variety show over the last 10 years. It's been a joyride, and I feel it's time to break up the channel and bring in new YouTube what's a I know, yeah, YouTube channel. Is it a YouTube? Yeah, a YouTube channel, because I tried to do playlists where I put everything in playlists, but it looks like the algorithm doesn't like that. I'm gonna put Tech, AI, and Me in one bucket, and I'll also have a channel for herbs. We'll incorporate AI to do a deep dive into what those herbs are, and then I'll have a conversation, my own personal experience with herbs. But that's just an overview of what's coming on the Let Me Explain show and other associated channels. Thanks so much for watching. I would love to hear what you think about this Google's Notebook LM. I wanted to make sure I got the name right. So this is Victor on the Let Me Explain show, and you can catch this episode mid-January in full on the Tech, AI, and Me channel. Take care now.